Good afternoon, brothers and sisters. How are y'all today? Beating Chua, no worries. I understand some of y'all may have other commitments. Please go ahead. The video will still be here after the session. For the rest, please hold while I connect up my tablet. So today's topic will be on Qingming. Yeah, Qingming. So is the audio working? I hope it's working. So Qingming. Have y'all done your Qingming prayers? So some of you may have already. Okay, loud and clear. Good. Yeah. So Qingming is a Chinese custom. Qingming 扫墓. Yeah. Dorian Sid has signed up online. So this year is very special because this year all the religious centers are closed because of the COVID-19. So temples, churches, even mosques, all the religious centers, basically I think not just religious centers, but we are all on the circuit breaker, stay at home measure now. So, but especially for the temples, because usually this period, temples around Singapore will be filled with devotees, filled with families who take this opportunity to pay respects and remembrance of their ancestors, their family. Yeah. So this year, I think a lot of temples and monasteries have moved the prayers online. Yeah. So some of us may be having this question: is it actually okay to have it online? Yeah. If you are not there in person, is it still okay? So I want to perhaps share a bit on this, the Qingming custom itself. Qingming actually didn't start off the way we do it now. Yeah. Sometime I think in the Shangcao period, like way back. Yeah. The Qingming was actually festive. That's why it's called Qingmingjie. It's actually a festive, a time of the year. Throughout the year, there are different festivals in China. So Qingming is just one of them, and it celebrates the passing of winter, where the remnants of winter has dwindled and has, in a way, come to an official halt. So the sun is out, and there's usually light rain during Qingming period. Yeah, 3月里的小雨啊 yeah, 纷纷小雨. So the light rain causes the dust to settle, and the mist from winter, the shroud, yeah, have settled. So the word Qingming, I actually did a bit of mini research some years back. Initially I thought it has to do with Buddhism, 清净, 明者慧也. I thought, about wisdom, Then when I did some research, I realized that actually has nothing to do with anything that I thought. The Qingming actually is qi qing jing ming. Yeah, qi qing jing ming. So it's actually about the atmosphere. it is actually about this time of the year, how the ambience is like. The qi qing, it means the air is clear. Qingming, the scenery is also very clear. It means the air is fresh, the scenery is clear. Yeah, it's describing this. Yeah, so Qingming actually conjures up this imagery. And in the early days, families would go out to the countryside, go out into the open. Yeah. So imagine, for Singaporeans, we cannot imagine. Maybe a bit harder to imagine, not cannot. Because for Singapore, it's like summer, hot summer whole year through, with rain here and there, and heavy rain. Whereas for China, a huge part of it, during the winter months, you are usually just indoors. Yeah. In Singapore, you cannot imagine not going out, but for many countries during the winter months, they cannot go out because it's just snowing every day. And because of the snow, it's not convenient, not easily accessible to go out. So up to Qingming, then people are free to go out to the outdoors, and they would have like picnic. Yeah. So initially it was like that. Nothing to do with the Saomu part. So according to what I found, then sometime in the Shangcao or so, the Chinese emperors, they started to do Jizhu. So they would go to the ancestral tomb, the imperial tomb, to pay respect to the emperor before him. In a way, when they do that, it is to legitimize their position. Yeah, because not everybody can suka go to the imperial tomb. So by doing that, paying respect to the imperial tomb, to the emperors before that, they are in a way legitimizing their position as the emperor. In much the same way, people cannot suka go to 拜你的祖先 as their 祖先, isn't it? Yeah. So this was done by the emperor, not by the commoners. But this practice was originally in the winter months. So they were when they offer the food, is all cold food. So then it was said that this time this became common practice by the people, and this timing from the winter December period and the Qingming period slowly merged and became one practice. Yeah. So eventually then people would go to the outdoors and take this opportunity to also 扫墓. Yeah. So Qingming 扫墓 eventually became a thing. Yeah. Of course, in Singapore, the younger generation may not have had the chance to 扫墓 also, because some of the younger generations may not have had the opportunity to see the actual mu, yes, the tomb, the cemetery. I think when I was really young, I've ever been before. Yeah, it was a major affair, early in the morning. And then along the way, parents will always like make sure that we don't speak, because kids, I don't know, Chinese are very afraid of kids speaking up or asking questions. Yeah, we have this phobia of kids asking questions. In fact, we have a phobia of anyone asking any questions. So I remember when I was younger, whether to the actual tomb or to, let's say, the later on we go to temples, it's the same. Parents usually don't want you to make any noise, don't want you to ask any questions. Better keep quiet, just stand there, and when it's your turn, go and 烧香, and then don't ask questions. So and in Singapore it's quite different, because in Singapore Qingming period usually is quite hot. This year is actually quite pleasant because it's usually these few weeks have been quite cloudy, not too hot. In other years, Qingming usually in Singapore we have strong sun. So this practice up to today, yeah, without the tomb, without going to the temple, is there any more significance? Yes, of course. Yeah. Is there any more meaning? There is meaning if we do it with our heart. Yeah, because this practice actually we need to clarify a few things. Like just now, there was this question that I posed. When we do it online, or we watch the prayers done online, is it still, effective? Is it still okay? Yeah, we're not there in person. But you think about it, in the past there was a tomb, and then we exhume the tomb, we cremate. We have cremation nowadays, and we put it into an urn, yeah, and we have a tablet. So some students, elderly students, ever ask, they ask like, so when we have a tablet, should we put it in the temple, or can we have a tablet at home also, and so on and so forth? These questions. Now there's the traditional reply, which actually has to do with Chinese custom also. Because Chinese have this notion that the tablet has some significance, and there's some essence that actually resides there. But in Buddhism, we don't subscribe to such a belief. Yeah, not to criticize beliefs, but we have different beliefs. Yes. Other cultures, when they have a cemetery, they have different beliefs also associated with the dead and the passing away. So likewise in Buddhism, we have a different belief. We don't believe that after you die, your spirit stay in that tablet. Yeah. And for that matter, that tablet is not your parents or your grandparents. It is a symbolism. Yeah, it is to remind you that there was such a person without whom you don't exist. It is to remind us of the kindness, of the love, the qualities that these individuals, our ancestors, those who come before us, that they embody. It is a reminder of these good qualities that we should strive to live up to. I don't know how other families celebrate Qingming. Our family, we'll go to a temple, there will usually be some prayers, and then at home we'll do some offerings. And I always remember how when we visit one of my uncle's place, the extended family would come together. Yeah. And in fact, usually on that day, sometimes you have a larger crowd than Chinese New Year. Because Chinese New Year, you have the various extended family that is like clusters. Not that kind of clusters, but family clusters. And you may not always have one day that everybody come together. But for Qingming, many times for my mother's side, all the extended family, they will come together to pay respects. And as part of the culture, the family culture is they will do the offering, right? Offering of the food, and then they will sit around and then they will chit chat. And it's very interesting because there will be this timing where they wait for Akong and Zhou to Akong Ama, Lao Zhou Gong, Lao Zhou Ma to finish eating. Yeah, and there's this practice of Bok Pui, the two wooden half crescent moon shaped kind of pieces. Yeah, and usually after about 1 hour or so, half an hour or 1 hour, usually 1 hour, then they would ask me to go and ask Akong. Or sometimes my uncle will ask Akong. ask his father, my Akong, whether they are done for the meal. And sometimes it's quite funny because sometimes kids very funny. When I was young, sometimes hungry ma, so keep asking the adults, Akong 吃饱了没有? Has Akong finished eating? And then my uncle is quite quite nice to me. He dotes on me, so he will like, come, you ask Akong, see whether he's done or not. Yeah, because like just after half an hour I'll be asking. Yeah, so he's quite my kuku. He's quite interesting. He would humor me, and then he would ask me to go and ask. I don't know whether anybody has done any experimentation to this. Like, you know, is this statistically just a probability thing? Yeah, but the Chinese are very interesting. They have a CRC check. Yeah, they have an error check. So you must do it 3 times, and it must. So you have the upside, and then the downside. So you must have you must have 1 up, 1 down. Yeah, it can be like that, but it must be one of this, and you must have it like 3 in a row. Yeah, so if you have 2, no, 1 cannot. You must have 3. Yeah, to signify that yes, data sent, data received. You know, it's like a check bit. You must have the sequence continuously to make sure that the answer is correct. So if you have both up, that means they call it chop, laughing result. Yeah, it means like you don't ask this kind of stupid question. Then if you have reverse, that means not very pleased. Don't ask. Yeah, this is not a good question to ask. Something like that. But that's the Chinese culture. And then meanwhile, the adults will be sitting around and they'll be telling stories about Akong, telling stories about the ancestors. Yeah. So Doringo says we refer to it as the head and tail of the coin. Rosie says, do we need to potpui to ask whether they have finished eating? Yeah. To me, the potpui, right? I remember. Okay, so first of all, when we say do we have to ask? If we have to ask, what is the significance of it? It means that potentially our ancestors have been reborn in the hungry ghost realm, so we still have to ask them. That is one. Yeah, and that would be very unfortunate, you know, after so many decades, if they are still around in the hungry ghost realm, that would be horrifying. Yeah, we would hope that they be reborn in the human or heavenly or in the pure land. So does it mean that we shouldn't ask or we don't need to ask? I think if you are living with seniors, that means elders, and they have this practice of asking, the purpose of asking, again, when we do the asking, there are 2 parts to it. One is the intent, and the other one is the expression of the intent. Yeah, so again, the why and the how. To me, doing the asking, the wish to ask is a show of respect. Yeah, that you respect the elders, so you want to make sure that they are done with the food, then you eat. Nowadays, when we have our meal, right, young people eat first. So when I do organize lunch gathering, now cannot, now no gathering. In the past, when we have lunch gathering, I'll make sure that the young eat last. Seniors eat first. 先长后幼. And to me, this is a beautiful practice. It's not about discrimination or bullying the young. Yeah, it's about respect for the elders. And the idea is, young people, you have not done anything for people with your life. You are still learning. So what have you done? What have you contributed to the family? What have you contributed to the society? What have you contributed to this world that makes you deserving to eat first? Whereas our seniors, elders, no matter whether they have a degree or not, whether they are a manager or director or not, the fact that they are seniors in the family, they come before us. Without them, we wouldn't be around. So out of respect, we invite them to eat first. Yeah, and I remember during Chinese New Year, we would have the first tier Akong. By the time I come of age, both Akong has passed away. So Amma would eat with my father, the uncles, and then the elder grandchildren, grandsons. A bit biased, but yeah. Usually some of the aunties will also join in. Yeah. Then the second tier and then third tier, the youngest one will then eat. Yeah, it's actually about respect. Now granted, there's also the flip side, which is if we are on the receiving end of the respect, we have to ask ourselves, are we deserving of that respect? Yeah. As a junior, especially during Qingming, let us go and spend time to think of the parts of our ancestors, our family who have passed away, the good qualities. Yeah. Why do we focus on the good qualities? 所谓人非圣贤，谁能无过? Yeah. We being unenlightened, who has no fault? Yeah. So imagine if Qingming, you spend time thinking about the faults of our ancestors. Of course you can find some fault, isn't it? But if you do that, then it's quite a miserable Qingming, Yeah. And whether our ancestors are reborn as ghosts or reborn as human beings, I think quite sad for them. Whatever, whether good or bad, then after that people have once a year gather to speak ill of them. Yeah, you know that who last time what? No point. And if we do that, do we? The trouble with us is when we talk about the shortcomings, we tend not to learn anything from it. It is not as though we talk about that and then we say we must learn not to be like that. Yeah. So maybe it's a good idea to look at the good qualities, yeah, and remind ourselves and our younger generation the good qualities of our seniors. Yeah. And then on top of that, as an expression of our devotion to them, yeah, so that to teach our young this virtue of gratitude. Yeah. 所谓饮水要思源, yeah, that as we drink water, we should consider the source of that water. Yeah. So Qingming, to me, this is what Qingming is about. Yeah. So then, what about the prayers? The thing about prayers is, as far as I know, for the longest time, most temples, do you know one of the challenges of the temples that is one of the challenges that temples have, that monks and nuns have, is to engage family, those devotees, to actually participate in the prayers. Participate not in writing donation. Participate as in join in to do the chanting, join in to do the prayers, join in to do the reflections. Because when we let me get one of the puja texts, the Chinese puja text. So like for example, let's say you go for some of the prayers and then they recite 地藏经. Yeah. or maybe they recite 金刚经 yeah 金刚经 so or usually maybe during the Qingming they may recite 弥陀经 or let's say 水忏 or something so you see when we say we want devotees to join in the prayers, it is because if you are to join in the prayers and you join in to read, number one, it develops devotion and faith in the wholesome, yeah, in the triple gem. Number two, as you recite, yeah, I know nowadays, yeah, Singaporeans increasingly becoming gantang. Shifu was a gantang, now become 土豆师 half gantang. My teacher was from Northeast China, so no choice. The only two English words, as I always tell you, that my teacher ever said was yes and no. I ever heard, these are the only two Chinese words. Yeah. So if you were to read, if you were to join the puja and you read through the sutra, it plants the imprint, plants the seed. Yeah, leaves the imprint of the teaching of truth. Maybe the first year when you join in, you read 如是我 you know, like how Sifu is like last time. Let me try to find 弥陀经 and show you. Very funny. So, a long time ago when I first, like initially when I joined in, right? Wow, I tell you the challenge. Even the 如香赞, because 如香赞 is not there's the sequence or the timing. Like this particular one, it actually have gaps in between. The usual one is continuous, but the chanting is not continuous. So chant halfway, don't know where is it gone, you know. And then when I recite 弥陀经, yeah, 如是我闻亦是, like now I can memorize a huge part of it. 如是我闻亦是佛在舍卫国其数即故土也. But last time when I recite 如是我这个什么字好像是新闻的闻闻亦是佛在舍什么什么国somewhere 其什么字什么树其给孤独缘last time that was my standard, you know. Yeah, but it takes time. Yeah, it takes time. Yeah, so when we during the COVID-19 or even before or next time in future, don't just think that, oh, you know, you just do donation and the monks go and do a chanting. When you do the donation, is to support the temple, support the center, support the sangha to do the cultivation. But during such festives, many times the temples, the monks, the nuns, the number one thing why we organize all this is so that you all come into contact with the teachings. Because only through contact with the teachings, then you can become enlightened in one day. You know, you can actually awaken the wisdom. Yeah, so initially, don't be afraid. You join in. You know, like during this period, a lot of monks and nuns, a lot of centers, they do the chanting online. Beforehand, don't wait until on that day, then try to get the text. Beforehand, you will know what is the text they are chanting. Don't know, you write message Facebook, you can message. Ask Sifu, dear Sifu, ask respectfully. Don't just go there. What text? What sutra? No lah. You know, civil society. So ask, dear Venerable or dear 法师吉祥，法师慈悲。这个星期三，这个星期天，我们要唱诵的是哪一部经？几点开始？请法师开示。Then maybe the admin or maybe the 法师 themselves will reply and tell you, oh, this 这个星期天呢，我们会诵弥陀经 回向这个这个这个诸位的这个先父先母还有那个这个就是列祖列宗等等什么什么的or maybe this Sunday we are going to recite Medicine Buddha Sutra and so on. So once you find out what must you do, you go and search. Like 佛说阿弥陀经, just search online. You will find the original text. Then maybe when you see the text, don't know how to read, never mind. You copy and paste from the internet, paste into Word, and then Microsoft Word or LibreOffice, they have the plug-in. You can insert 汉语拼音. Don't know the Ming yet? It's okay. Just know how to chant first. Step by step. You know? Sometimes people say, "Ayo, but how come so difficult one?" Then I'm like, the teaching of truth that is supposed to help us be free of suffering. So why do we think it would be any easier than worldly knowledge? You know, mathematics. We study 6 years of primary school maths, and after 6 years, full time, we only know what algebra. And nowadays kids don't even know algebra. Then you study 4 more years full time. Then what do you know? Integration, differentiation, and that's it. Not expert yet, no? How many of us are expert after Sec 4? So takes time, takes effort. But we may think, but Shifu, why must we do this? What are you willing to do for your ancestors? What are you willing to do to express your gratitude? It boils down to that. No one can force you. Shifu is not here to tell you, you must do this. In Buddhism, no such thing as you must. It's more about what are you trying to do? And that answer is from you, not from us. Then initially you just try to follow. 如是我闻一师佛在舍卫国. Nowadays very convenient. Like even this one has 汉语拼音. So simple. Then after that, when you do the chanting 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, then it commits to memory. It becomes, imprinted in us. Then you can do reflection. But because 文言文 and because some of these texts, the Dharma, the phrases are actually transliteration, so we don't understand the meaning. And even the words that is translated, we may not understand. Then what happened? Those venerables who lead you all in chanting, let me assure you, most if not all of them are able to give at least summary teachings on what they are leading. The trouble is most people only want the monks to chant. Most people only want the monks and nuns to chant. They want to listen to teaching. So take the opportunity. Before or after the puja, ask the venerable for, don't make things difficult for people. Shifu, today we want go through 弥陀经 Can you explain the whole sutra in 5 minutes? 这个叫刁难师父Don't. So whichever part, let's say one verse you don't understand, ask politely for guidance what that verse is about. I'm sure the venerable will be happy to explain in brief, or in detail. If you happen heng sui sui encounter a sifu like me, then very long-winded. Then in the end, the chanting only a short time. Then the explanation is 2 hours. So if you do that, then this Qingming becomes very meaningful, and not just this Qingming, in future as well. You can continue doing this, and by doing that, that is the reason why many temples, monasteries, monks and nuns, when we conduct puja, is mainly to create the opportunity for lay people to be in touch with the teachings, because the teachings have meaning, and the meaning is what can awaken our wisdom. Now, some of the chanting is not directly about wisdom, not directly about certain principles of the Dharma. Some of the chanting, like for example, all the repentance puja, they would usually have the preamble, which is the invitation of the triple gem, yeah, and then homage to them, paying respect to the triple gem. Yeah, this is to set the stage that we are disciples of the Buddha, and we all, in our mind, we see that there are those who are unenlightened, and then there are those who are enlightened. 有凡圣之别, yeah, and then we pay respect to those who are awakened. That's the basis. Yeah. But in Buddhism, when we do repentance, it is not that we are asking Buddha to forgive us, then settle the score, right off. No. We actually use the repentance puja to as a base guideline to remind us what are the things that is unwholesome, what are the things that is wholesome. Because sometimes it's not so clear. Sometimes it's clear, sometimes not so clear. So when we do repentance, it is a reminder to ourselves. Most of us don't go and do horrible things in our life, but whether it's intentionally, unintentionally, many times we unintentionally do things. So intentionally or unintentionally, this life or past life, through body, speech, and mind, we do repentance. Here repentance means, number one, recognize that it's wrong. Number two, we make a firm determination not to do it. Then number three, with the merits of this abstention from such wrongdoings, we dedicate it to the well-being of all sentient beings. And from there, we make a vow to be of welfare and benefit to sentient beings instead of harm. So when we understand this structure of repentance puja, all the different repentance puja, the verses are different, but the gist of it follows such a structure. And in between, they may have specific teaching verses. Sometimes when you attend some of the repentance puja, halfway through, the chief monk will, nobody is chanting, and then there's some verses that the chief monk will recite. Besides the name list of those who have signed up for the puja, there's also usually some verses where the 诸法师说法, and those verses are actually very meaningful. The trouble is many times we lack the background, we lack the understanding. So when we hear those verses, they are bokyo, catch no ball. We don't have understanding. Then without understanding, it becomes esoteric. It becomes mystified. It becomes superstition. So instead of that, we don't have to continue like that, this year, even though we are at home and the venerables are in the temples and it's shown online, don't treat it like they are doing it, then you just go online to spot check on them. No, I don't think anybody do that. But please don't do that if you had that in mind. The aim, you think about it, whether you all come to temple or not, we are doing our practice. Whether we put it online or not, they are going to do the chanting. We have this saying, 信是一粒米，胜过须弥山. That the offering of devotees, even just 1 grain of rice, is larger than Mount Sumeru. This is one of the verse that is passed down in the Chinese tradition as a reminder that we must really make sure that whatever we receive, we make good use of it to benefit sentient beings. So then why do they put it online? It is to encourage everybody to participate, even if you cannot be there in person. And since now everybody is stay at home, then you just go online as they do the chanting. Even if you don't know how to chant, then just read lah. That 1 hour, 2 hours makes a difference. What difference, you may ask? Purification. What kind of purification? Our body, speech, and mind. Our day-to-day, normally, from morning until night, from dawn till dusk, the moment we open our eyes, our body, speech, and mind is usually circling around me or mine. Either me directly on my children, my work, my studies, my career, my husband, my wife, all about mine. Not, not, no crime and shame in that. I mean, that's human. But when it's me directed, yeah, then easy to have greed, hatred, delusion combined together. So when we participate in the puja, in Fa Hui, then is it about me, about mine? Still a bit, not totally zero. Yeah, but now less about mine, less about me. When we do chanting, when they chant to page 3, you cannot say, I want to chant page 1. When you chant in Chinese, you cannot say, I want to chant Pali. When you go to Theravada Center, you watch Buddhist library or Wat Ananda, you watch Mangala Vihara, when they are doing Pali chanting, you cannot say, oh, I want to chant my own Chinese. Can, at home you can chant your own Chinese one, but if you go there, you cannot. Online, if you want to join it, so-called join in, it means give up your own preferences. Yeah? Directly practice no self. Yeah. So when you are doing the chanting, then your body is not doing anything harmful. Your speech, you're reciting the verses of truth. Your mind, that's the tricky part. Keep it focused on the puja. Keep it focused on gratitude and kindness towards our departed ones, whether it's our departed family. And if I may say so, if our parents have not passed away, if our grandparents have not passed away, keep them in mind our prayers also. Don't wait until they die, then you want to be kind to them. When they are alive, do prayers for them. Two kinds of prayer. The first kind of prayer is our usual. We chant. Second kind of prayer for them is be nice to them, be loving to them. You know, like now if you're not staying with your parents, you cannot go and have gathering. But if you are staying with your parents, take the time to offer them water. It's very simple. Every day, just offer them water. Don't wait until they pass away, then you put a tablet, then every day offer water. I mean, if by then, still offer lah. But before that, when is the last time we offer a glass of water to our parents? Not that they don't have to wait until they are, you know, sitting in the chair, lying on the bed, and they are immobile, then you offer water. Yeah, it's not about whether they can do it, whether they need it. It's about we expressing our love and care. Yeah, offer them water. I can assure you that simple cup of water will quench their heart of whatever sadness, whatever unhappiness they have, whatever stress they have, all gone. Melt away with your water. This is the second kind of puja. First kind is when we do chanting. Second kind is when they're alive, you serve them. Yeah. Now again, COVID-19 cannot go out. But human beings are very funny. Cannot go out, then we want to go out. After COVID-19 is over, don't just go out by ourselves. Go out with our parents. Spend time with them. When we are young, they spend all their time with us. So when they are old, don't wait until they are old. We can at least spend half a day, one day, spend time with them. If they need something, instead of just passing them the credit card, you know, or tell them, you buy lah, then you claim from me. What? Reimbursement. Fill up the form and claim from me. Go to this website, claim your bill. No, that's not how we should treat our parents. This is not a company. If you want to do that, start a company. Don't treat your parents like that. Yeah. And this is our parents. Don't ask the maid to bring them there. You must remember, even if you don't want to be filler, think about it. What you do, our kids have eyes. Yeah. 言教不如身教. With your mouth, you keep on saying, oh, you must be filial, you must be filial. But by yourself, do you care for your parents? So even if to say it more bluntly. Yeah, even if we say, oh, we don't feel so much gratitude, but out of selfish intent. Yeah, but better not to do it out of selfish intent. Do it purely out of love. Now, of course, I know of some students where their parents, when they were younger, they were just so busy with work and they don't care. And unfortunately, there are some parents who don't have the connection with their children, and so the children don't feel the love. Yeah. It is when I'm faced with such cases, my heart really goes out to them, because for me, my father, my mother, they never say I love you before, but I've always felt their presence. I've always felt their love, their care, their tough love. Not the easiest to accept, but love nonetheless. So I can only imagine how it's like to grow up without that. Yeah. But the question is, the fact that we grew up without that love from our parents cannot be changed. Do we want to have our parents grow old without love? Yeah. Maybe in their life they haven't experienced enough love. That's why they don't know how to express their love. Maybe as they are growing old, if we express love to them, maybe their next life they will know how to love others. You know? Yeah. So Qingming to me shouldn't just be about our ancestors who have passed away, yeah, because it's a festive of reminder, yeah, of gratitude. Yeah. So take this opportunity, actually it's a good, in a way good, that now we're all at home. Yeah, then spend the time in appreciation of our elders, whether those who have passed away or those who are still around. Yeah, take the opportunity to express your love. Now, don't wait until all you can express is "Buat Pui Sing Pui" to them. Now you can still talk to them. Don't wait until you have to "Buat Pui" to talk to them. I hope that we can spend this Qingming meaningfully in this way, recollecting the qualities, the wholesome qualities of our parents, our grandparents who have passed away, our ancestors who have passed away, and also take this opportunity for those who have the blessings to have our parents or even grandparents still alive, to take this opportunity to express our love for them, our care for them, our concern for them. Yeah. And those who are parents, those who are grandparents, make it easier for people to care for you lah. Don't be so picky, like this cannot, like that cannot, then no, not very encouraging. Make it easy for people to love you also. Yeah. Don't be picky. Oh, I only want my lunch from my elder son. Please lah, to 2020 already. Yeah. Whether it's your son or daughter, your eldest son or your second son or your third son or your youngest daughter, doesn't matter. Whoever is able to provide, appreciate it, then you'll be very happy. Imagine if your eldest son can only provide you with meals a few times a year, and you insist your meal must be from your elder son, then you're going to go hungry for the rest of the year and you're going to be miserable. But if instead you change your mindset, whoever offer meal to you, you be grateful. Yeah, you be thankful, you be appreciative. Then whether you have 1 child, 2 child or 3 child, nowadays usually 1 or 2 only, then you can still be happy. And even if your children are so busy they cannot offer, then with your spouse, if your spouse long gone or your spouse and you being then learn to be happy by yourself. I mean, what is the next best thing, right? Yeah. So, Amitabha. Rosie says, Buddhist Lodge, 居士林 Singapore Buddhist Lodge have Qingming Fahui yearly. It's always very packed in the Gongde堂. This year we only can follow on live to chant Liang Huang Bao Chan. Liang Huang Bao Chan is also very good. Florence say, thank you, Sifu. I'm going to serve my 93-year-old, still going strong mom a cup of water after your SGC sharing today. Oh, sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Don't wait until after SGC. Go and serve now if your mom is staying with you. Okay, very good. I feel so happy, so heartwarmed hearing that. Yeah. So I'm going to scroll through and see whether there's any questions I miss out. I don't know whether anybody, Doringo says that they refer to the Popway as the head and tail of the coin. I don't know whether whether anybody else refer to it that way. It has some similarity, but the pui, because it's curved on one end and flat on the other end, is actually not 50-50. Yeah. So it's not exactly the same as head and tail, because head and tail in a balanced coin, in a fair coin, is supposed to be 50-50. So I hope I answered the question about whether we need to pui. Other than that, I think I have there's no other questions that was raised. If Lin Ang has a question regarding the question of not able to handle our Qi Xing Dong Nian even after 20 years of Dharma practice, is this due to our Ye Zhang, etc.? Please advise how to proceed with our practice. Very good. I think this question was from the morning. Starting this week, we have the I think it's once every 2 weeks, is it, or every week? Anyway, this morning we had one session of Dharma sharing with the 新加坡青年弘法团, because starting from this year, they have invited me to give teachings to the Dharma school, the Sunday Dharma school, so the parents class and the children's class. But because of COVID-19, we only had a couple of lessons and then all classes stopped. So today we resume. So that's a very good question. So Qi Xing Dong Nian, not able to handle. So there are many reasons why we can't handle it, Evelyn. So after 20 years of Dharma practice, I don't know the type of Dharma practice you do. So maybe you could share a bit of the kind of Dharma practice, but I will just touch briefly. I know that there are people who do a lot of chanting for many years. I know there are people who do a lot of meditation for many years. Usually when we say practice, it's less about the teachings. So it's usually about the chanting, whether it's of Buddha's name, sutra, mantra, or the meditation, or doing charity, is part of Dharma practice. So some of them don't directly deal with Qi Xing Dong Nian. Some of them do, but some of these practices can help us to be aware of our Qi Xing Dong Nian only if you actually apply it correctly. Give you an example. For example, when we chant Da Bei Zhou, or we chant Mito Jing, initially when we do chanting, we're not so used to it, right? So we have to look at it religiously. Sometimes even though we put in a lot of effort, we cannot catch up, So initially we look at the text and then Namo, then we check, see whether we are on the right page. Then Da Bei Guan Shi Yin Pu Sa. Then we do, okay, this one I see no. Namo Da Bei Guan. Okay, 3 times. Then after that, Namo. Da Bei Zhou. A lot of 生字, no. Then we say Nai Tana Tonaya Ye Namo Li Ye Polo Jete Sepunai. But initially not so smooth. So initially we are struggling. And because of that, our effort is very strong. So usually for most people, I don't say everybody, for most people when we initially start doing chanting, our effort is high, our qi xing dong nian is low. That means we don't have so much distractive mind. Yeah, we don't have so many wild thoughts in our mind initially, because we need to put in effort. But for most people, over time, maybe some people 3 days, some people 3 weeks, some people 3 months. I'm a bit slow, so I took 3 months to learn Da Bei Zhou. Quite jialat. Our monastery, 7 times in the morning, 7 times in the evening. Yeah, in US, Da Bei Zhou. But they chant very fast. So initially, wow, sit jialat. Namo Hanai Tana Tona Yaya Namo Li Apollo Jede Sevanaya Puri Sadapa Emo Sadapa. Wow, very fast. And every Sunday 21 times. And that tape is speed up some more. Wow, super fast. But eventually, let me tell you, for those, I'm just using this as an example. Eventually, when people start to get used to it, then what happens? If you go to some temples, you see all the Lao Pusa, or you see those, may not be Lao Pusa, to be fair, those who are very seasoned. Yeah, they still, uniform, they hold the puja book, but they just hold, they don't need to look at it. Yeah, then, 跳夜, they also know they don't have to look at the text anymore. They memorize everything. Then what happened? As they're chanting, Namo Hanai Tana Tonaya Ye Namo Oli Ye Polo Jete Sepuna Ye Buddhisa. Wow, they can do many things while they are doing chanting, no? Then what happened? At this stage, easy for a person to have discursive thoughts. Discursive thoughts while you are doing chanting. Then you are missing half the point of the chanting. Yeah, because when we do the chanting, it's supposed to help us anchor our mind on the verses. Yeah, so before, when you start and you are putting in effort, all the way until you are very used to it, in between is the time for you to practice, so that you use this chanting as a way for you to gain mindfulness, for you to develop that awareness. Awareness of what? Awareness that your mind has drifted off. Can you understand? So, that's why I say, 句句佛号, that the 佛号 or the 咒 or the Qing in your mind, in your mouth, nothing else. Such that during this initial period, you learn to be aware. When your mind has drifted off, you are aware. So that with this ability slowly train, even when you're not doing chanting, when your mind is drifted away from whatever you are doing, you know. In this way, then you can handle qi xing dong nian. But this is just the mechanism to be aware. After you are aware of qi xing dong nian, you still must have zhen nian. You must have zhen jian. You must have zhen zhi. So this requires something outside of the usual Dharma practice. You need to attend Dharma class. You need to listen to Dharma talks. You need to read sutras. You need to listen and learn from the teacher, from the venerables, so that you have the right view of what is right, what is wrong, what is wholesome, what is unwholesome, what is defilement, what are the wholesome roots. Then that way, when your mind has drifted, the drifting of the mind requires the earlier practice to be aware. But after you are aware, you need to be able to discriminate, to discern, is this wholesome, is this unwholesome? Then this requires learning of the teaching. And from learning, you must have faith that what is described as unwholesome is really unwholesome. And then you need to do reflection to truly understand why they are unwholesome. Otherwise, you are not convinced. And if you are not convinced, even if you are aware, qi xing dong nian, qi fan nao, you still think, Actually not my fault. And then that's why, that's one specific example of how you can actually handle your 起心动念, and also why you may not be able to. As to whether it deals with your specific personal experience, then we have to talk about what kind of 20 years of Dharma practice that the person has done. Yeah. Before that, I'm not so eager to jump into the conclusion that it is due to 业障. Ye Zhang is not responsible for everything. In fact, 业障, strictly speaking, is a 统称, is a general term. 三种障, 烦恼障, 业障, 艺术障, or 果报障. So these three, usually we 统称业障, but actually not all about 业. Because 业障, strictly speaking, is when you 造五逆兼罪, 业嘛, this is 业, or you 造了12业 very strongly, then it impedes your learning, it impedes your practice. Yeah. Otherwise, usually is 烦恼障, our 烦恼, 我们的烦恼, our defilements, and our habitual tendency. Then we are not so used to the wholesome one, even though we do 20 years of Dharma practice. But if we just do it, go through motion, so I mean, I don't want to assume, but we need to go into the specifics. What kind of practice was done and how was it done? Because all the different practices, there are certain subtleties about how it should be done for it to take certain effects. If you just go through motion, people chant, you also chant. Not you, but people in general. Yeah, 人家念我也念，有口无心. You know, we always say 有口无心. You chant, but never put in the effort, the mind. Yeah, then of course you won't see the results. Thank you very much for this question. It's very meaningful. But if you want to have more clarification, you may want to just leave a comment, the specifics of the practice and how it's done. Or if it's something that you wish to take offline, you can send a message to my public page, and then we can take it from there. Okay. Abe asked last question. We kind of overrun. See, buried will be practices for the further. I don't understand what this means. Some people said the dream family members complain the sea will be cold. Will Buddhism believe it? Hard to say. So strictly speaking, when we do sea burial or not, again, it is about when someone is being cremated, the departed one don't reside in the ash. If that is the case, that means not reborn. That means, or rather, reborn as a ghost. That's not ideal. Yeah. A lot of these or family members dream about this or that, right? Sometimes it's actually because we have the mindset. Yeah, we have the mindset that the departed one reside with the ashes, and then we have the thinking, oh, if you throw the ash into the water, then you'll be cold. Or we hear people say that that's the case, then plant all these ideas. We call it priming. In psychology, it's called priming. Yeah. Now, this is something that nobody want to test. But if you ask me, Sifu is someone who is, my mom always say I'm very picky. If you really want to know, then we need to find one family where the departed one, the ashes, we will tell some of the members that they are placed in the what do you call it? Some families will be placed in the urn. Some families will be sea burial. Yeah, others may be scattered in the park or something. But to each of the family, right? We may say the actual thing. We may say a different thing. Test ma. Yeah. Then double blind test. So then we see whether there's consistency. If we do a certain experimentation, and somehow in all the cases where the ashes are really scattered into the ocean, the families all really report saying that they dream that their families feel cold. On top of that, those ashes that are actually not thrown into the sea, the families don't have such a dream. And then maybe if we have a strong correlation, then we can have some discussion. Until then, I would say, I don't want to say it's superstition. To me, it's about the concern that people have for their family members. Yeah. So to me, sometimes funeral and after, what do you call that? 后事, yeah, the undertaking, that sometimes has more to do with the living than the dead. The dead will go on according to the karma. Yeah. When we do all the chanting, it is to sort of to help the person strengthen the connection with the wholesome Dharma. But ultimately, the person must have connection with the wholesome Dharma. Yeah, but thereafter, according to the karma, according to habitual tendencies, according to connection with wholesome, unwholesome karma, the person will be reborn. In the sutras, virtually zero mention about how the body of a person should be dealt with. The only place is in the Mahaparinibbana Sutta, where the Buddha talked about, where Venerable Ananda asked what to do with the Buddha's body after he passed away. And even then, the Buddha told Venerable Ananda, don't bother yourself with this. The remnants, the relics, the ashes, that will be dealt with by the Brahmins, the kings, the prince, the lay people. You go and meditate. Yeah. He gave instructions about how the Buddha's body should be wrapped and so on and so forth, with layers of incense and so on. Yeah, but think about it, for 45 years, this was not part of any formal teachings, yeah, of cultivation. So, but we are not against it. Yeah, Buddhism is focused, the Dharma is focused on how to be free of suffering. This part, no direct link. But there is the customary practices, which we as human beings, we should respect people's custom. Yeah. So, whatever practices, whether sea burial or so on, we have to understand how people feel. Because from what I know, in the past, Chinese traditional, just I mentioned, traditional burial. From what I know, in the 80s or something, development of the country, right? So I think Venerable Hong Chun and some of the seniors were invited to weigh in on this, and I think they shared with the population, with the Buddhist community, that it's okay for what. Yeah. So now we all accept it. Yeah, we can accept it, but traditional Chinese can not necessarily accept it. Must have 入土为安 and so on and so forth. So it's about mindset. So I hope this answers the question. Yeah. And with that, we wrap up today's session. I hope this session has helped us have a deeper appreciation of the Qingming. I have written a blog some years back related to this topic. I'll post it later. I hope that you all can take this opportunity to have a deeper connection, with our ancestors, in memory of their wholesome qualities, and to remember them with gratitude. And on top of that, to our parents and grandparents who are still alive, to express our care for them, our love for them. Don't wait until they are a tablet, that all we can see is a tablet, then we want to offer water. Okay? Let's do dedication. 愿消三障诸烦恼，愿得智慧真明了，普愿罪障悉消除，世世常行菩萨道。 阿弥陀佛，起立。